the battery pack on the camera and things. So, technically it was a challenge to play. And also by the end of the first season and beginning of the second season, it was getting hard it felt redundant of how she enters the scene. And the directors were struggling as well with how do we make this new and fresh. And I'd even read some comments from fans at the time of like, okay, we've seen this chick, what's else? And so if it had just stayed number 6, I think it would have been a very redundant character. But then, oh gosh, I can't even remember how many. Number 6, Caprica 6, Gina, Natalie, Lila, Sonia, Airlock 6. Airlock 6, Eddie almost was directing that episode, and he put me through the paces. I love doing stunts. I did all my own stunts on Battlestar, and but I had quite sensitive skin, and the blood vessels must be quite close to my skin, capillaries or whatever. So when I really exert myself, I get purple dots all over my face for the next, week. And I discovered that when I was 5, and my sister sat on me when my parents weren't home and we were fighting, and she sat on me and I was screaming for about an hour. And she couldn't lie because I had purple dots all over my face. She's like, I didn't sit on her. Really? Anyway, so I'm struggling, trying, because the airlock there's a hole and they're sucking people out, and I'm struggling against the grate, trying to, even though, of course, there's really no wind except for a wind machine on you, you're really not getting sucked out, but you have to tense, your body has to feel it, and then they had me harnessed up for when I was trying to shut the door to save the human, and I get sucked out. And I'm trying to shut the door, and they've got me harnessed up. And at one point, I was struggling so hard because they had a big stunt guy on the other side of the door trying to push it open as I'm trying to push it closed. And I'm hanging by my midsection in midair on a harness. And Eddie just kept letting it going on and on and on. And at one point, I was going to throw up. I was so exhausted and was exerting so much. It would be a good outtake, actually. It was in the middle of this intense scene, and I'm pushing, and I'm staring at, I can't even remember who the other character was, I'm staring at him through the glass of the door, and I finally just went limp. I went, hung for a couple of seconds, caught my breath, then went, and that would have been a good outtake, but, so, that was Airlock 6. Then there was a few, you always saw them in the background. If you never saw their face and there was a bunch of them in the background, it was usually a photo double. And I would go around and I would be kind of the annoying actor to them, the photo doubles, because they don't know the story. They're not given a script. They just think, oh, it's a blonde, I'm in a pretty dress, it's a sexy character, whatever. And I'm like, no, you're playing kind of just the regular 6s, you're military, whatever. And there was this one scene that was in Downloaded where you saw a bunch of characters walking across this courtyard, and there was this 6 walking away from camera as I was walking to camera. And she's in more not military outfit, but she's definitely more one of the worker 6s. She's not a head 6, she's not in a red dress, And she's walking away from camera, she's like, and I walked up to her and I'm like, girl, this isn't a runway, okay? You're a worker. You're on a mission, you're going. And I would do that all the time with all the photo doubles. And they would listen to me, but I would go up to them and I would watch them and I'd say, that's not 6. You can't do that, you can't do that, you can't sit there like that. And I think they appreciated it after a while. Because it ended up getting them rebooked again if they looked like me in the background. But does that answer your question? They went on a tangent. There was quite a few 6s.